Welcome to today's episode of the Group X podcast. I'm your host, Tony Zanato. And if you haven't yet done so, hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. Today, I'll be talking to Vic Bellino, trainer and presenter for Les Mills Age Pacific. We discuss being authentic and true to yourself, teaching programs that really fit who you are and not trying to force fit a program, and how to be 100% you and why. So grab your favourite beverage, sit back and enjoy the show. Vic, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Thanks for coming on and having a chat with me. I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Hey, let's kick this off. I and my listeners and everyone that's out there want to know how you got into the fitness industry. Where did it all begin for you?
Well, it all started, I guess, back in school. I was wanting to become a full-time tennis player. So I trained and then went full-time when I finished school. I wanted to be playing on the women's circuit, and I did a couple of, they're called satellite tours. So you go around Australia, you play satellite tours, and I trained every day, a couple of hours in the morning, evening, and then I think my realization came to a head when I realized that you have to be doing this at about 12 to 13, starting a full-time career much earlier, because it's really competitive. I don't know anyone who's ever tried to do a professional sports career. You have to start early. Like, people were quitting school. Martina Hingis was, there when she was 14. They study while they're on traveling playing tennis.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started a bit late, my full-time tennis career at about 17, 18.
Yep.
And so I quickly realized that you need money to survive. So I had to get a job, and I got a job at this gym down the road. It was Pacific Health and Sport and Fitness or something or other. I was 17.
Yep.
And the Broncos used to train there, so I thought it was the best job in the world. Wally Lewis and Alan Langer used to walk in, and Steve Renoff, and I used to just think it was the best job.
Excellent.
So I started on reception there, and I, turned 18, and then I became a PT.
Yep.
And then I sort of saw people teaching classes, and I don't think my GFM really gave me any encouragement at that time. And I thought, well, no, I'm probably quite determined, and I think I can do that.
Yeah.
So that's when my sort of adventure into the fitness industry started. But I've literally done every position you could imagine.
Love it. So from receptionist all the way through, you've given them all a crack.
Yeah. I've been a PT. I've been a club manager. I've been a sales consultant. I've done it all.
Is this all through independence, or is this through chains that you've actually experienced these roles?
Independence.
Oh wow, whole lot. Wow,
the whole lot. Yeah.
Here I was being naive, thinking that you were just a group fitness instructor that's come along. I think that's fantastic that you have that experience and that knowledge from everyone, from the receptionist right through to a club manager, and that understanding.
I even did a couple of shifts on child minding, Tony.
No way.
Yeah.
You've done everything.
I've done it all.
Let me ask the question then. Is there anything in a gym that you haven't done? Is there any role that you haven't had? Okay. No. Righto. Now I'm going to say I'm the one that feels a little bit you've got more experience than what I have in this, so maybe it should be you asking me questions.
Not at all.
No, I love that. It shows that you're an all-rounder, and you actually have a skill set that I'm going to say will probably help you being a group fitness instructor, because you actually understand the people that are in front of you from every different aspect, from every role within a gym, which is vital to understand, I think. And this is nothing against group fitness instructors, but I believe that having the knowledge that you have is an advantage over most that are out there.
I agree 100% with that, because when I walk into any gym that I'm teaching at, there is not a day that I don't walk into a gym and say hello to the reception staff. I don't acknowledge the PTs, because I know what it's like to be those people. So if there's an instructor that used to walk into the gym and ignore me at reception, I think, oh wow, I'm a person too. So I say hello to everybody, and I know
That's
what
brilliant.
every position feels like. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. So let's get back on track here. Sorry, I got a little bit sidetracked then. Teaching group fitness. What was your first introduction to group fitness, and how did that sort of come about?
uh, I probably just like, I guess, lots of other instructors started participating and realized that, oh, wow, I love this.
Yep.
This feels really good. And okay, what can I do first that, I might not be too unco at? I know, and don't take any offense to this, any RPM instructors, but I chose RPM first.
Yep.
So I trained on RPM 7 and I did RPM and it was my thing. I was like, this is awesome. This is so good. And yeah, that was my first program. I don't even teach it anymore, but it was my first program.
RPM 7. That was like
Yeah,
so early that was
like the
still
night
working out.
train.
Still, that's like, wow. That's the early stuff of working out what the program still was back when Mike was still trying to work out what we do here. I think
Yeah.
things were called light revs and not like hill climbs and all that kind of stuff as they are
No,
now.
it wasn't. I don't
Yeah.
even know what the lingo is today.
Wow. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So that was the first program that you trained in.
Yeah, and then
Where did you teach it? Whereabouts was that at?
at
Which club?
Jindalee, there's a gym that it went through many different chains. It was Club Pacific Health and Fitness, and then it was Zest Health Clubs, and then it was so it's gone through a couple of
I got it. Yep.
different names, but it was Club Pacific Health and Fitness, and then it became Zest Health Clubs.
Yep.
And that's when I really started to sort of add programs to my
Repertoire.
resume.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
repertoire. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
And then
So when
yeah, I
with
think
you, take me back to your initial module training. Can you remember who you had for your initial module training? Who was your trainer?
Joe Wade was my RPM
Now I remember
trainer.
that name, but I cannot remember that face. He's
Māori trainer, now lives in New Zealand. Just big smile. You might remember, it was so long ago. It was probably 2000 and I'm guessing 2002 or 3.
okay. Then I'm going to say I probably would have met at one of the workshops somewhere, because that name sounds really familiar, but I just cannot put a face to
Yeah.
that name at the moment.
And with the trainers back in those days, it was so the passion and the
Yep.
the Les Mills culture was so just deep within them.
Yeah.
It was really inspiring and
Yep.
motivating, and just it
Awesome.
was awesome.
This is the Group X podcast. Now, your training, did you pass? Did you pass the shadow? Were you withheld? How did it go for you? Being
No,
something that
I
was
passed.
you did well done.
Yeah.
How did you find the
I passed.
training though? Sort of coming from you'd experienced other positions within the gym, but coming into a group fitness environment and understanding a program in the way that it's taught. How did you cope with it? How did you go? Did you understand it all? Did it make sense? Was it gelling with you or not?
Oh, look, I think I'm just going to give you a bit of a heads up that I have the worst memory
Yeah.
in history. So if you ask me, I'm going to not have a good memory, but I do remember at the time it just being a lot more than I thought was involved in instructing
Yep.
classes. I thought,
Yep.
as everyone does, you just get up there, don't you, and just
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
with the music on. Oh, it's
Yeah.
that easy,
That's how you do it. Yeah.
That's how you do it. It was a lot more involved than I thought, but still it didn't deter me from just loving these programs and
Yeah.
wanting to teach.
Yeah. No, I think that was the thing, and I think I've chatted to a couple of the other guys in relation to this, where it's been that first weekend can be so daunting and so overpowering. I'm walking in there and going, okay, especially if you've never done a training module before, you don't know really what to expect. You walk in there and you're in a room of anywhere between 6 to say 16 odd people, and you sort of what I do anyways, I sort of sit in a room anyway and work out where I sit in the hierarchy of what's going on in the room and different personalities, and sort of you sort of suss it all out and work out where, and okay, yeah, what can I say to who, and all that kind of stuff. But then when the training starts, it just used to shut me up and put me in my place of going, okay, this is different. And I remember RPM, because RPM was my first as well, that it was very, very confronting in the fact of, hang on a second, you've given me music. We've done a class, and I'm used to doing classes. Now you've given me music, and you've also given me this booklet that tells me what I've got to do and when that relates to the music. Hang on a second. I'm a
Mm.
bloke. I know how to lift heavy things, and I can get on a bike and I can pedal, but this is going to be a bit of a challenge because you're going to want me to talk while I'm on a bike, and I'm smart. Okay. And
Like, what?
exactly. I just remember sort of going, okay, yeah, we can do this. But by the end of that weekend, being able to put it all together and present a track. Now, I was withheld a shadow, I think it was back then. So it wasn't a fail, but it wasn't a pass. It was that sort of in between. On as long as you've got someone to teach with, you can get up on stage and do a track or two, and until you're ready, and then we'll tick you off to do it all.
Yeah.
And it was that whole, well, okay, I can do this. By the end of the second day, yes, there's something in this that I've actually got a skill set where I can do
Mm.
this. I can achieve.
Yeah.
Did you feel much of that? Can you remember? Did you feel much of that going
Look,
into it?
I had to find something else that I was good at when my tennis career failed. So I had to be good at this.
Yep.
So unfortunately, during my career, I've had a really bad character trait of being a perfectionist and that kind of thing. So I guess the option of failing wasn't really a solution. It wasn't going to be
Yep.
for me. I
Yep.
couldn't.
Yep.
Luckily, as I've gotten older, that has dropped away a little bit, and it's okay to
Yep.
uh,
It's okay to stumble.
not.
It's okay to
Yeah.
yeah.
But back then it was not an option. So I had to sort of absorb everything I could from the instructors in my gym. And yeah, it was daunting, but for some reason, through all of that, I've had this belief that I'm like, I can do this, like I'm
Yep.
capable of this. It
Yep.
just, believing that
Belief in yourself
to
is
its
a
full
huge thing.
extent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it doesn't always come, but I just had to be good at something else.
Yep.
Because tennis didn't work out.
No, I appreciate that. Can you
Yeah.
remember your first class you taught?
Yeah, I think I lost my breath and I couldn't talk.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if anyone's ever suffered that, being on stage and then all of a sudden
Hitting
your
the
breath
hole.
you lose your breath and you can't breathe.
Yep.
And then you're just not able to speak properly, and then your mouth gets all dry.
Oh,
So
dry
I think
mouth.
that
Yes.
was me. That was me. Yeah, nerves.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
so nerve-wracking.
I think I told Dallas this the other day that when I put the mic on, I put it on upside down. So you know how you're wearing how you got your headset on now. So
Yes.
yeah. So that's how I put the mic on.
Love that.
So instead of going back around the back of your head and over your ears, it was over the top, like I was sitting in the call
Yes.
center, because I worked for Telstra
Perfect.
for 7 years. So that for me was, well, that's how you wore a headset. Even though that I had done the initial module training and I'd been on stage and shadowed next to someone, when I walked into that room to teach my first class by myself, all of that disappeared, went out the room. So I think it was
So common though.
yeah, it's that whole you have so much confidence leading into it, but you can walk into that room and, as you said, get the dry mouth, get all the whole short of breath, the whole oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's almost like a panic attack sets in.
100%.
But you've got to have that confidence to say to yourself, I've got this. I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm trained. They're not. You know what? And if we screw it up, and if that's not the right curry, then it should have been. I remember saying that a couple of times of, yeah, Tony, if that wasn't the curry, then what today it was, because that's what you remembered, and that's okay.
And that's
yeah.
okay.
Didn't happen that often, Les Mills. Let me tell you that. It didn't happen that often, but when it did.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
We can always edit these things out, can't we?
I love that.
Yeah. So what was your second program that you taught? Or you got trained in? I should say.
Body pump, I think. See, this is where my memory is terrible. It's either body pump. They were very close consecutively, body pump and body step.
Okay. Yep.
Funny enough, and then literally did all my programs within a year and a half. So it was
wow.
body pump, body step, and body attack straight after that. And then obviously much later, grit.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty much within a year and a half or 2 years, I did like RPM, body pump, body step, body attack.
Let me ask you the question then. With RPM, pump, step, attack, and grit, which is your favourite now these days? Which would you class as your
all the
favourite?
presenters that come on the show this question?
Yep. It's like asking your child, which
They
is your
answer.
favourite child?
Okay, so I love all my different programs for different reasons, but the one, I'll be honest,
Yep.
the one that gives me the most natural, most authentic joy
Yep.
that comes from my true self is Body Attack.
Okay. Yep. And I love that because that's as you just said, it's authentic. It's an authentic response to that question, which I appreciate. Because can you elaborate on that? Why? Tell us why.
It's just being authentic to who you are is is really important when you teach.
Yep.
I don't even have to try
Yep.
when I'm teaching Body Attack. I don't even have to work hard to feel anything in Body Attack. It just comes. I don't know how to explain it.
Yep.
And maybe it's because I had a strong sporting background and I love music. Like, I'm a really big music person, and so the sporty moves, and I always had to be the fittest.
Yep.
So Body Attack, and I don't know, I can't explain it.
No, that makes sense.
It just is.
With what you've said, it makes sense. Remember, I'm married to Rach, and I understand this.
We cried on stage together.
Yeah.
Rach and I cried on stage together in track 8 of Body Attack 100. Like, it was,
It's a
it was
moment.
it was uncontrollable.
Yeah.
We not all three of us, Braden, Rach, and I, just could not
Yep.
control that moment.
Yep. No,
So,
mate,
yeah.
I understand that. As I said, I get it because I understand. Yeah, I get it
Yeah.
totally. What? now that's the question of who's your favorite child something. But why did you
Yeah.
decide you wanted to do so many programs so quickly as well? What was that was it?
So I didn't have an easy road. I didn't decide or choose. I auditioned back in the day. We used to have auditions.
Yep.
Auditions for programs. I got knocked back twice, and I thought, no, that's not me. I'm not going to give up.
Yep.
So I didn't give up.
Yep.
And then Nathan Jones at the time was the
Yes.
program director for Body Attack, and I got recommendations to turn up at Q1 workshops to shadow.
Yep.
It was our big moment to kind of shine, and of course, her and I just hit like heartstrings straight away. And then, Nathan Jones put me through the school of hard knocks. It was hard. Like, you had to earn your place back in those days.
Yep.
And then Tommy Kay was the Les Mills Asia Pacific manager at the time. And he said, normally, trainers have 2 programs that they do. And I was like, great. He said, if you're going to, try out for another program. So I said, I'd like to do Body Step. Because I don't think I even got into Body Pump at the time. And so he said, if you're going to send a video in for Body Step, you better send in your best video, like your best, and send it into Chris Hutton. And we'll see how you go. And so I sent in the best video I could possibly send. I did it 4 times. 4 times I did this video, and I sent it into Chris, and I received a letter saying, we'd like to offer you a position. Yeah. And I was not expecting it. But it was just a thing in those days to have 2 programs.
Yep. So when did you join the team? When did you originally?
2011.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And so it was Attack first.
Attack first, and then shortly after that, 6 months afterwards, Body Step.
Yep.
And then Grit launched in Australia, and I said to AT, I really want to try out for this. And so I went to Grit 2. I trained on Grit 2, and I was like, I put my letter in to AT that I'd like to apply for this because I think it's the most awesome program in the world. And at the time, HIT, it still is, for HIT. And I felt like I was really made for that program. And so he put me through after my first training. I was like, this is awesome. And then I didn't really, I didn't mean to have 3 or 4 programs, but then I felt like I'd done Pump for the longest, and I was like, why am I not a trainer and a presenter in this program? I want to do this program as well because I love them all. So that's how it happened.
Look, I've got to say, and I'm not saying this because you're in front of me on Zoom or that I know you a little bit better than maybe some of the others that I've chatted to. You come across to me as an exceptionally talented person, but a very driven person. And what you've just said, and I haven't known that background of you from your tennis and all that kind of stuff. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I look at that and I think the discipline that you had around your training with tennis and what you had in your teen years and that kind of stuff, you've carried on through into what you're doing in the group fitness space. Am I correct?
Yes, and yes, I'm so old school that I want to um, achieve things by so much hard work that
Yep.
I look back at that and go, wow, I earned that. It was like
Yep.
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I am driven. Body attack was the hardest because Nathan Jones really pushed us through our paces back then. It was like
You
we
were
had to
earning
do a
your
whole
stripes.
push-up track on our
Yeah.
toes,
You
like a
were
whole
earning your
push-up track for
stripes.
body attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to ever get anything easy, and I
Yep.
never have. I've never been a favorite. I've never been the person that just gets given anything.
Yep.
So I guess that's made me have to work hard.
Yep.
I don't get given anything
Yep.
in this life.
Yep.
You know, like, yeah, so yeah, it's just made me work hard.
This is the Group X podcast.
Hey, on training and presenting, obviously presenting came first before the training. Would I be right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you did your first training module,
hmm
how did that go?
Oh, there was definitely hiccups, and there was definitely feelings of, oh my gosh, I didn't do the river dance as good as Steve Clough.
Yep.
And I didn't do the hongi as authentic as Nathan Jones. And so, I felt really because I had to give up so many weekends just sitting and shadowing on
Yep.
modules.
Yep.
So I really did my hours. But yeah, in the beginning I was like, wow, I've got a lot of work to do, and I didn't do it as well as my favorite mentor, Steve Clough, Nathan
Yep.
Jones, Chris Hutton were always my favorites, but I just had to keep practicing my, what do you call it? Your trade? Like I
Yep.
had to really
Yep.
practice talking in front of people.
Yep.
So yeah, the first one was a little bit shaky.
Yep. Did it?
I don't even remember my first one, Tony. Don't ask me because I don't know. Okay.
What's happened to your mind? My
I don't-
goodness.
2 teenagers,
Yep.
full-time work and classes. That's
Yep.
what happened to my brain, I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question, and this won't go into the episode. I promise. I'll edit this out.
It's all right.
No, how old are you?
I'm 44 in July. You can put it into podcast.
Okay.
I don't
No,
care.
that's right. I'm 45.
44 in
and
July.
that's right. I have moments exactly the same as you. So when you're saying this right now, I'm like, I remember everything in this industry, but if you asked me about telco and what I did before moving into the fitness industry, I got no fucking idea. It's gone.
Well,
I do not remember any of that whatsoever. It's
I feel bad sometimes that I don't remember little details. But oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, it makes sense though.
Yeah.
You teenagers, yeah. Look, we have a 6-year-old here, so that's
What?
sass-
You just got a lot going on.
oh yeah, sass and attitude at the moment is intense, but yeah.
I love that.
Sorry, we'll get back on track. I can edit that bit out.
That's all right.
Your first training module was what was your first training module? Which program was it? Did you tell me?
Body step.
Body Step was your first training program.
Body step was my first training program.
Okay, see, you had your brain
And-
then. see
Yeah,
your
I
brain
know,
ticking
my
over,
brain
going,
was
"Hang on a
thinking it
second,
was
which was the
Body
first
Step.
one?"
Yes, and
out of
then-
all the training that you have done with people and of the programs, which is your favorite to train in?
Oh, you know what? It's not even a program that I used to train. It was just back in the day, we used to have 2-day trainings, and we used to certify them on day 2
Yep.
and give them a certificate.
Yep.
And that used to bring me to tears when I'd see them from day 1 go to day 2 and
Sure.
pass,
Yeah.
and the trials and tribulations that they went through. So I know it wasn't a favorite program. It was more so my favorite part of the training, I
Yep.
guess, because
Yep.
for a trainer, I know you can have your favorite programs, but when you're training, the content is different, but the process is the
It's the same.
same.
Yes.
So you're bringing
Yep.
people into content that they've never seen before, and you're sort of giving them the tools to be or the tools to get up on stage. And then that first day when they first present, it's so shaky for them. They're so nervous. The anxiety is so high, and you just feel for them. But the day 2,
Yep.
they're going to just bloom. So you're not really worried about day 1. That's my favorite part. That
Yep.
was, the content delivery or the content is not so much the thing. It's the individual that
Yeah.
gets
The
that
journey that you see them go
the
on.
journey.
Yeah.
Used to make me emotional.
Yeah. Love. Are you still training at the moment? Are you still doing training modules or not?
I have taken a back step.
Yep.
Just because I am now doing that as a full-time job, a trainer and assessor.
Yep.
Thankfully, all my experience at Les Mills got me a full-time role in training and assessing. But I do day 3s, and just with COVID and
yes,
everything, it's made everything a little bit time poor.
Yeah.
And I think I'll let all the young ones
Yep.
get their hands on modules now.
Yeah.
It's their time.
I like hearing that because chatting to a lot of instructors, as I still do, even though I'm not teaching myself, there's still a big network of people that I chat to, and there's a lot of new faces that are coming through, and I think it's great that the new people, that sounds really bad, Tony, the newer instructors or newer people on the team are getting an opportunity, and it's not saying that those of you that have been doing it for a while need to step down and step away. If you're able to mentor the new trainers and help them out in their process of doing what you guys have done for so many years, I think that's vital because they need that experience and they need that guidance from you guys. But I also love the fact that you have come to that realization in yourself of sort of going, you know what, I've shifted a little bit from what I was doing, and whether it was COVID that did it or whatever it was, the fact that you realize that I want to use the skill set I have to do something different, but still stay relevant in the industry as well.
Yeah,
I think that's key.
Important.
Yeah, I think it's good that
we relied on someone to give us some belief and some chance.
Yeah, is it Nathan Jones? Yeah, Nathan
It was many. It was so
you.
many.
Yeah.
And like Chris Huddens, and Nathan Jones at the time, and just so many people that I admired watching.
Yeah.
And they gave me of course I didn't get an easy road. I got the hard road, but still I got a road.
Yep. You were given an opportunity, and you made
a belief.
Yeah. You turned that into something from the opportunity that you were given, which I think is brilliant. It's nice to hear.
This is the Group X podcast.
What would you say your most favourable or best experience you've had in your journey so far would be?
Every single time I got to travel for quarterly workshops and teach with other presenters, and just going around teaching to instructors that were so happy to see you.
Yep.
And teaching modules at remote areas where people didn't have the opportunity to, because people in metro cities have the opportunity to go to workshops 4 times a year.
Yep.
When we would go to places like Darwin and I've even been to Mount Isa for a module.
Yep.
They are so overwhelmed with just being able to have you there in person. And it's so it's just humbling.
Yep.
You're like, they are happy I'm here. Like, I'm just me.
Yep.
Like, it's just me. I'm just coming out to teach a class to them, but they're like so happy to see you. And that's what I love about this job is just the friendships that I've made with other presenters. Like, there's genuine just love there between all of us.
Yeah.
Teaching and having, like, this is a job. Are you joking? Like, this is like we go around and
I
we
get
just
paid to do this. Are you?
like, what? Yeah, like I've had so many amazing experiences on stage. Just we'll be beaming, our smiles will be from ear to ear with other presenters, just teaching and making people happy.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous. It's not a job.
Yeah.
at all. So I loved traveling because I was obviously in the aviation industry. So traveling around, being with people, doing something that we're all passionate about,
Yep.
and yeah, just making lots of friends along the way, I guess. I'm sorry I don't have one moment
No,
for you.
no. Look,
I mean, I've
that's
cried on stage quite a few
yeah.
times.
No, look. The thing is that there's I will honestly say that if there's only one experience, then was it really enough? The fact that you've had multiple experiences with that kind of stuff shows that the journey that you've been on, the story that you've been able to share, and passion that you've got around it. There's not just, oh, you know what, it was the mega quarterly workshop that we did there, that was the best ever, or it was the filming event that we did in Sydney, or whatever it may have been. There's been multiple of those things, and I think that shows the real genuine passion that you have for what you do.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so many moments.
no, it's good though, but that also shows that you bloody love what you do.
Yeah,
You're enjoying it.
yeah.
It's not just, oh yeah, the others were all, yeah, they were all right, but this one,
They're all right.
this one, oh
Don't
my
cry.
god,
Yeah,
it's it's different.
yeah. No,
So,
it's great when you have a group of people that um are very passionate about what they do, very authentic.
yeah,
There's no uh you, it's very, if you're in this industry and you truly enjoy helping others, if there is anyone on the team or in your instructing what do you call it, cohort, that are in it for themselves, it shows,
yeah, yes,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like it's definitely a very outward um industry
yeah,
at its best. You have to be there for others. That's all you're there for, pretty much.
yeah. If there's a bit of
I mean, I enjoy it,
yeah,
don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. If there's a bit of advice that you'd be able to, you could give an instructor, not someone wanting to do what you've done. That's a question I've asked a lot of the others, but more so, if you were to give in some advice to an instructor, what would it be?
I've given this advice to a couple of instructors that I've either withheld or, they've had to um, redo a day one or a day two. And I basically said to them that if this is what you want to do, genuinely, this is what you want to do, then don't give up.
Yep.
Like it's hard work, and it's being knocked back a few times where you learn. You can't give up on something that you want to do. Like if I gave up the first time that I didn't get through the audition, I would never have experienced everything that I have.
Yeah.
Also, it takes a while to be authentically you. I can tell you that from experience. Like, I was not always okay with making choreography mistakes on stage. I was not okay with being a fool. In the beginning, I was such a perfectionist. You have to give it time.
Yep.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's harder than what people think.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
There's, out of the your number 10 now, episode number 10, out of the 10 people that I've chatted to so far, the one thing to me that has come through quite strong is that you need to be you. Yep. In order for this to work, you need to be 100% you. Don't try and be someone else. And it's when I've chatted to all of the others around initial module training, and when you have your first initial module training that you as a trainer presenter deliver, or when you're going through that process and being signed off, pardon me, being signed off as a trainer presenter, is to be 100% you. Don't try and do it in the way that somebody else will deliver it. Don't try and do it in the way that you think that it wants to be done, but be you. Be true to you, stay on track, and just do you. And that's when it actually all seems to fall into place. There's a lot of people that have started their journey and tried to be someone else. It doesn't work. Don't be someone else. Be you, and be, as you said, authentic, and be true to yourself. And that's when it all starts to fall into place. And it's been interesting with the 10 of you that are all trainers and presenters, that sort of is the experience or the journey that you sort of went through on, that whole trainer process of, yeah, okay, I got there and I thought that I'd do it this way. And the feedback that you're almost given was, don't.
Yeah,
Don't do it that
no.
way. You know what? The content, as
Don't
you
do it
said
that way.
before, the content is the content. You know, the outcome is the outcome. Yeah. How you get there, that's a different story. But the journey that you were seeing your participants go on from day 1 through to day 2, it didn't matter how they did it. It just mattered that they did it and they went through that journey, because that's what makes them become them. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want another 16 Vics out there.
Mm-mm.
I don't want another 16 Tonys out there. Christ,
I don't want another one
Jesus
of me
Christ
out there.
Yeah,
But
it's have you as you come across trainers and instructors, I should say, not trainers but instructors. The big thing is, guys, just be yourself.
but that's the hardest thing
Yeah, look, it's
for most people. It's
Yeah.
like the hardest thing.
Yeah. I'll be completely
scary.
honest. It's putting yourself out there. It's putting yourself out there for scrutiny. You know, people are going to scrutinize you. People are going to look at it and go, "Oh my God, you're crap," or "Yeah, wow, that was amazing." I'll be honest and say, with this podcast, yeah, the same thing. The same thing goes through my mind before I press record on every single one of these. When I'm chatting to you guys, is someone one day is going to turn around and go, "Tony, this is shit. What are you doing? And you should have said this, or that was dumb, or whatever it may be." At the same time, I go, you know what? I'm giving it a shot. It's the journey. I've
But
learned
also,
so much
you're really
from.
authentic. This is what you want to do. Like
Yeah.
you felt this is what you needed to do.
Yeah,
As long as that's at the core of your being and at the core of your values, you have to know what your values are.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get to be your authentic you. I think it's the hardest thing.
yeah,
I think it really is.
yeah. I think though that's if there's advice that I want to give to any instructors that are listening as well, is it's just be you. You know, if you want to go down this path of being a trainer and presenter, you want to go and do it, you've got to strive for it. Yes, you've got to train for it. You've got to push for it. You've got to make it happen. But be you. Yeah, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen because you are you. You're not trying to be a
Exactly.
Vic. You're not trying to be a Tony. You're not trying to be a Chris. You're not trying to be an AT. You're just trying to be you. And as more authentic you can be, that's when the opportunities are going to start coming up. Because not only will those in positions that training managers start to see you and other trainers, presenters start to see you, but it comes out in your own classes.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
people that are in front of you day to day, I'm going to say, are more important than those people in a training session, as in if you're doing an initial module training, because you've got to stumble and you've got to be in front of those people day to day. If you can't be you in front of that 5:30 Tuesday afternoon class, they're not going to gel with you.
No.
And if you can't get those people on board and loving what you're doing, no one else is going to love you for what you're doing either. It starts from that that moment you walk into that class. As we said, you know, we've had those moments of losing your breath and all that kind of stuff. But they're the moments where you get to stumble, graze your knees, fall, and improve on you. Those guys are going to love you, or they're going to hate you.
100%.
But
They see right through it. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Instructors you teach to, they see right through the fake. They see through it. It's so obvious.
They don't like you. They're not going to come back.
No.
Yep. So you to me is it's you the people that are in front of you daily are the ones you need to more impress than those that are higher up the food chain or higher up the corporate chain that you want to try and impress. Nail those guys in front of you. The rest of it is just gonna it's gonna fall into place, isn't it? It's just gonna happen and be easy. The journey will be a lot easier for you if you are you 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me, what does the future hold for you within the Group X space in the fitness industry? What are you?
A very long time still teaching.
Yep.
I can't give up yet. I still love it so much. I mean, I've never given it up, not for 1 minute since I started in 2001, 2002. I've never stopped for a minute. Never had I can't see myself giving up anytime soon.
Yep.
I'm going to pull back a little bit from training because, there's now more people out there that need, obviously, like we spoke before, that need the opportunity. And I've done my 10 years of training, so I'm still going to teach. And I will teach as long as I can.
Yep. Brilliant. I'm going to say there's a lot of people out there that don't want you to stop, so don't. You'll have a lot of followers in up in Queensland that know you and be like, if Vic stops teaching, that's it. I'm not coming to the gym. I'm going to leave. So
Oh,
you're not,
I don't know
one,
about that.
one, you're not allowed to. You've got to stay around. But no, I think you're right with that. There's you'll know when it's time to stop. You'll know when it's time to pull away from
Like
it. Doing it,
I just taught a workshop on the weekend with Eve, and honestly, she said something that just like really stuck in my head, that when you teach with someone that you trust and that you both have like this authentic reason for doing what you do,
Yep.
it is so freeing.
Yeah.
Like we just nothing could
Yep.
come between us, and the
Yeah.
teaching was just so authentic and real, and
Yep.
that's
Nothing's
that's
going
what
to
I'd
throw you
like
off
every
track.
instructor. And every instructor should feel comfortable being themselves and being free
Yeah.
in those moments. So yeah, it was just I won't be giving up anytime soon.
Love it.
This is the Group X podcast.
Is there any other advice you want to pass on to any instructors that we didn't cover then, or that you sort of go, you know what, I want to get this out there to these guys?
I would just look, no real advice. I'm no expert, but I've always just believed in especially because we are in the fitness industry, it's just really appreciating that people come to your class for every different reason that there is. And if the two girls down the back want to have a bit of a chit chat, that's okay, because that's their time. And if Mavis over there wants to do her own choreography, that's okay as well. It's okay, because people just are there for a sense of belonging and a sense of fun. And you know, a lot of instructors may, if they're new to the industry, may get annoyed at those two girls chatting down the back, but that may have been the only half hour that they have in the day away from their desk, or, you know, like, it just, let nothing phase you in a class.
Yep.
Let people do what they want to do. Let them have, you're there to give them a safe space to be healthy and to enjoy. And don't worry if that person is pre-queuing with you. Who cares?
Yes.
You know, like, I don't,
yep.
honestly, nothing phases me anymore.
Yep.
But when I first started instructing, all that stuff used to, they're chatting. That person left in the stretchers. I don't care. They may have a baby at home they've got to go feed.
Yep.
It just, nothing phases me anymore. Just let them go.
That 45 minutes, that hour, or whatever it may be when they're in front of you, couldn't be the only thing that they've got that day that they have control over. They could have, and as I don't mean anything by this when I say this out there, these people listening, is that they could be in the worst relationship ever in their lives, and that can be their only outlet for their entire day, where they're in control. So if I remember being teaching RPM, they're on a bike and they were doing the choreo wrong. I used to get frustrated and think, what the fuck are you doing? Excuse me, like you in the second row, and I'd turn the music down and be like, what are you doing? Yeah, and embarrass them. Like, hang on a second. I would let that negativity of one person ruin the experience for everybody else in that class. Yeah. Instead of my energy sort of going, well, you know what? They're safe. They're here. That's the main thing. They've got other stuff going on. That's completely 100%. Fine. Use that energy, Tony, with everybody else that's around. And just make sure that I understand, and the people next to her or him understand that they might be doing something that is annoying, but it's not going to ruin the entire class. Their workout is their workout. As long as what you're doing is okay and safe and effective, then roll with that. Yeah, I remember.
It's just this. Yeah,
I remember. I can share a story with it. I remember in North Sydney when I was group fitness manager at Fitness First in North Sydney, that I was teaching a boxing class a Monday night at 6:30, I think it was, and at 6:35 there was an RPM class going on next door, because we had them staggered 5 minutes so that if you missed out there, you can run in there and all that kind of shit. I had the instructor get off his bike and walk into my boxing class and say, you need to get in there and tell that dick in the second row that he's got to do as I'm telling her. And I was like, dude, your mic's on for starters. I can hear the music from next door, and I'm in a boxing class here. You're interrupting my class, but your mic's still on. The person that you're talking about has heard every word you've just said. But so is everybody else in that class. Next thing you know, that guy walks into my boxing class as well. I was like,
Oh,
guys,
no.
not now. I've actually got a class out. I'll talk to you, at 7:30 when we're finished. You handle it for now. You need to get out here and do it. No, I don't. I've actually got a class going on with 45 people in here. We're at a boxing class. They're focused on what we're doing.
Wow.
It was that whole, I was stunned that instructor did that, but I was also stunned that the member who obviously had an issue with this instructor did what he did in that position, because it's like, guys, it's group fitness, for fuck's sake.
This is it.
You're not going to die because something's been done the wrong way. This is Group X. There's nothing here that anyone's going to be hurting themselves from if something's done a little bit left of field. But if someone's standing up when you're sitting down, or sitting down when you're standing up when you're on a bike, so what? They're still pedaling.
So what?
They're still
Yeah.
exercising. Why would you ruin a class for 30 other people, or however many other people are in there, just because one person was doing the wrong thing? Like, no,
Yeah.
not
I
needed.
mean, it's just let go of your ego and just be kind.
Yep.
Like, I have been judged before in my time, and it's not nice. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Drop your ego as an instructor.
Yep.
And just let people be.
Yeah.
Be kind. You don't know what kind of day they've had.
Yes. Yeah. Don't know what's going on, so
Yeah.
just let them be. You know what? They rocked
Yeah.
up. They're another person that's in
That's
your
right.
class. Yeah, it helps your numbers
They're
for your
there.
class. Brilliant.
Let them go.
Yeah.
So that's my advice.
No, love it. Love it. Vic, thank you so much for coming on the show and having a chat with me. I greatly appreciate your time and you
Oh.
sharing your experiences and your story on how you got into it and what you've been through as well, mate. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for asking me.
You're welcome.
I was like, oh, me. Thanks, Tony. You're doing a great, amazing podcast for people that want to get in touch with this. So we really appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you.